Hey, David, how did Brian Eno and the Talking Heads make a connection?
Well, he came and saw us when we were in London the first time we were over there. It was before we had a record out, really. And we got the offer to go over there and open for the Ramones. And so we thought, that's kind of chancy.
Yeah.
That their audience may not like us, but we decided to do it anyway. And we got the dates where we played 2 nights at a little club in London, and he came and saw us there. And he liked us. And so we sort of got to be friends and hung out together and stuff. And then he came to New York on a vacation. And, we hung out a little bit together there. And when we went back to London the next time to play, we got together then again. And shortly after that, it was time for us to think about making another record.
Uh-huh.
And so we were, thinking of all the different producers that we felt we might like to work with, and it just became sort of a natural choice then, because we already got along with them. We already had a lot of interests in common and things like that. So we thought, why not work with Brian, since we already know we get along, rather than someone who knows what their weird personality quirks might be.
Yeah. Do you have any, let's see, what made you decide to put your art into music and lyrics instead of on canvas and mixed media?
No.
As far as like your art, and like it seems you went in like the music direction. You were in that school, and instead of more or less going into the direction of a way a regular artist would go, with trying to make it, with his paintings or his sculptures, you decided to do it in music. What made you decide to do this?
It seemed more real and more sort of, lots of things seemed more real, more vital, more exciting. Seemed to get across to a larger number of people. The direction I was going in art was sort of in that direction anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I was working with questionnaires and polls and things like that had to do with reactions between myself and larger numbers of people than a gallery. I didn't want to work through galleries and things. And then, I'd always liked playing, so I thought, there wasn't sort of this or this. It wasn't sort of art or a band. It was just the band started, we started playing and stuff, and it started moving right along, so that's the direction I put all my emphasis on.
That's really great. And when performing on stages in front of mass audiences, what happens inside you?
I think my adrenaline level goes up. I'd lose my appetite. I think adrenaline does that. And I sweat a lot. I get pretty nervous, although I don't, and sometimes I have to take a shit a couple of times before I go on. I guess that's because of the nerves.
Yeah.
Of course, the adrenaline could do that too. Let's see what else. I guess I get sort of fidgety. If I have any illness, like a cold or stomach ailment or anything like that. It disappears very short, it's just before we play.
Yeah.
And then about an hour after we finish playing, it comes back, just the way it was before. But for that period, it's real bizarre. It's like if I have a stuffed up nose or cold or anything, just everything, all the symptoms disappear, and then afterwards they all come back, and I feel sick again.
Amazing. And how did you like playing in Berkeley?
I liked it. The sound was good, at least where I was standing. I felt pretty good about it.
What differences did you find in the crowds compared to the crowds in New York?
I think it's a little hard to generalize. I think crowds here are a little more willing to dance.
Yeah.
If that's one thing I can notice. Although I think there's a wish to dance in New York, but I guess it's a cliche of jaded New Yorkers trying to be cool.
Yeah. Tell me this. What was your impression of the art situation in Rhode Island and in the East Coast area?
Well, Rhode Island's a little place, and I think if you almost say it's like most of the world right now. Most people think of New York, I think, as the place where most of the mixing goes on.
Yeah.
And their interactions and all that sort of thing in that world. And it's also where all the buying and selling goes on.
Yeah.
And all that. It's been called the imperialism of the New York art world.
Yeah. How do you feel about being called the new wave or a punk rock band?
I think it's, I imagine a lot of groups feel that they don't like to be categorized as being just part of a genre. I think all groups like to feel like they have something special to offer that makes them slightly different from other groups. And although they might, for convenience, be closer to a certain number of other groups than to a whole lot of others, but they like to maintain their individuality. And so it's annoying in some respects to be generalized, but in other ways, I'd feel people were more off the mark if they said we were country rock or something.
Yeah. What is your own personal response on behalf of the Talking Heads to new wave and punk rock music?
I think there's a few areas in music where things are happening now, where anything can happen, and that's one of the areas. There's a whole lot of areas in music where nothing's happening and nothing looks likely to happen.
Yeah. Well, listen, David, it's really been a pleasure speaking to you this afternoon over here at Target, and I know for a fact that the Talking Heads are really going to go far. And thanks a lot.
Thank you.